Yo vole, what's up? Welcome to Evolve with Flaka, el podcast para crecer en tu carrera, boost your confidence y sentirte parte de la comunidad. I am Flaka, your HR mommy and hype woman for all the things careers. Cada Wednesday, we'll dive into some real talk, my own journey, my clients' career lessons. Of course, I'm going to share, pero con mucho cariño y discreción. And the estrategias you need to step boldly into your next boss era. Aquí, we grow con amor, we lead con poder, and we move with purpose. Let's evolve, mis jefas. Yo vole, we're back. I have to give credit where it's due, y'all. And my honey has just upgraded our entire system here. And I am just so in love with it. These headphones are helping me out a ton right now. This mic is amazing. And we're just going to get into it today. Okay. What has been on my mind to make sure that I share with all of you on Evolve with Flaka, your HR mommy? I made some notes and I'm going to go through those because I think it's a very important topic to do so. The last couple of episodes have really been about my personal experience, and this does include my personal experience, but there are some notes that I want to make sure that I touch up on, right? So I've been to a few events these last couple of weeks. And because I've really made it a purpose to brand myself as an HR guru or the HR guru here in DFW area, I've been having a lot of conversations with individuals who have been very comfortable, which I love because HR, again, if I haven't mentioned it before and if you personally know me, I am one of those individuals that work in the profession of HR that truly want to humanize the experience and truly be a resource to the human. Because that's literally what human resources is or should be. But I know there's a lot of individuals that feel otherwise about HR. So I've had many chisme talks this week and many times with people who are just drained or hartos with their jobs, with their work. It's like they're getting paid, but they don't have a purpose. Like they don't understand, not that they don't understand it, but that they're just like going day by day on their jobs. And that's not the best thing to do for anyone. That can be very drainful. And I was able to get to the mentality and the space of realizing that after CJ was born, because I just was like on a hustle. I just like wanted to just make the check, right? I was chasing the check, but without a purpose. I was just en pura chinga. Like I was just chingale. So I wanted to talk about that today, about how you build a career that not only pays your bills, but also feeds your soul. Because if you are just going to earn the paycheck and earn the cents, then it's exhausting. You spend way more time out there in your day-to-day job than you do even at home with our loved ones sometimes. And I get it. Our culture, our cultura, especially being an immigrant myself and growing up with immigrant parents who have literally sacrificed so much to come into this country and give us the best that they could with what they had, it's been all about survival, keeping the lights on, getting the food in our tummies, making sure that we have somewhere to sleep. I've slept on the floor before. It's been a journey that we can talk about later, but it's literally what our community knows: survival. Many of us as people of color, we understand that we go to work and we are surviving. We are not going to go and work because it's something to our satisfaction. That is not what has been ingrained in us. And we've really been taught to hustle, and never consider any part of our journey to heal in the part of where we're hustling, if that makes sense. So what does that mean? So we're out here and we're hustling, right? We're getting the degrees. We're just like check. We're getting the jobs. Check. We're getting to those titles where we are assuming that they make the big bucks, that they have, the goodies that we want, the perks that we want, but we still, even with the title, with the job, with the degrees, we are still out here feeling empty. Like, we're just like, what's next? We're chasing the next high because we haven't felt it. And that's because we just every time want to go for achievements and we're not aligning. So it's very important for the dicho of this episode. No todo lo que brilla es oro. Okay, just because it's shiny does not mean that it's gonna be golden for you. Shout out to K-pop Demon Hunters, that song Golden. You should check it out if you haven't. So how have I been able to find and discover my own alignment instead of achievement without making crazy changes in my career? I have stayed within the HR field ever since I can remember. I only switched my major one time during school, and that was because I was under the interpretation that I wanted to be what my dad's dream was. My dad was a really devoted, dedicated programmer in Mexico. Like, he's really into technology. So, me wanting to make sure that I satisfied my dad and made him proud, I wanted to go to school and get his attention by going and getting a degree in technology. Well, long and behold, I get into that program and I am miserably failing, y'all. Like, I got into that degree at school and I ended the first semester with a 1.9 GPA. First gen students, we got real problems. Like, nobody tells us what the struggle is out there. So I end the degree, or the first attempt at, the first semester, with the 1.9 GPA. And I'm immediately like, I can't do this. School's not for me. I want to quit really bad. This is where mentorship, connections, and network truly matter. So then I start socializing and I meet other individuals like myself, other first gen professionals. I start getting involved on campus and I meet study hours with my sorority. Shout out to Katie Kai. And I just start connecting with the career center and people are telling me, like, you should go talk to them. I get the probationary letter, the whole thing. I go talk to my career counselor. And basically together we decide that I'm looking for something that is more fulfilling to my personality. And sitting behind a desk on the screen for my job was not going to be it for Flaka. If you know me, you know that I am very much a person that does well in connecting with other individuals. So we start talking about what does that look like in a workplace for a degree that would get me into the workplace that way. And we narrow it down to 4 things. First one was a teacher. Uh Mad respect for all the teachers. But I have been volunteering at my church for many years and I have been teaching teenagers. So if I can only deal with them for about an hour once a week, and we're on a school schedule, so we do get the same breaks, and I'm like, no, I come home drained. It does not fill my cup. I immediately knew when that counselor brought that up that I was like, no, no, sir. Or advisor, I was like, no, advisor, we're not doing teaching. Okay. Second was, he was like, what about criminal justice, a police officer? Well, if you are an individual who's trying to get into law enforcement, if you have a sit down with any law enforcement professional, they will tell you criminal justice degree not truly relevant or useful when you want to go and get into the force. But I didn't have documents in that semester at college, so it was going to be useless to get into criminal justice. And this is in the times where cops were heroes and they're no longer looked at as heroes. But either way, I was like less than 100 pounds and I'm like 5'3", y'all, or 5'2". So I just shouldn't go into combat with anybody, to be honest. But so I'm like, no, no, thank you. No quiero hacer eso, right? Like, la policía, la migra, la misma porquería. Like, I don't want to do that. Okay. So then he was like, what about human services management and leadership? That is nonprofit work. And I'm like, oh, interesting. He explains to me that human services is essentially a field where they support humans through a lot of processes and they support individuals through community service. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome. I've been doing it through my church. I've been doing it through school. I've been doing it like ever since I can remember. So probably good at that. Let's put that on hold, put it to the side. Then he's like, well, what about HR? Have you considered HR? At this time, I'm like working at Wingstop and I'm like, what is HR? Because when you're like frontline workers, you hardly get to meet HR unless you escalate. And then the managers on the front force or front lines don't know exactly what processes they need to follow or how to best support you. So they reach out to HR. So I have no idea who or what HR is at the time. He explains to me that these are individuals that start the hiring process from the minute that the jobs are posted or presented wherever they go, right? Like there's job fairs that they're online. Then after that, they're the individuals that verify the applications and make sure that everything's being handled legally and ethically. Then he's like, they're the ones that present the offer that are like, this is how much you can get paid. Then they're the ones that conduct your initial training. Then they're the ones that register your benefits with insurance and all of the other perks you get on the job. And then they're the individuals that continue to check on you throughout your life cycle in the job. And then they're the ones that, support you while you're in the job if you get promoted, transferred, or anything like that. And then they're the ones that can, like, he just starts telling me all of these things. And all I think to myself is these people have a lot of influence and control over people's lives. That is pretty like amazing that anyone gives all of that support to so many individuals, right? So I get curious and I say, you know what? I would love to check that one out and see what classes include in that degree. So then he pulls out both of the curriculums or the classes that are going to be required for both human services and then HR. And I take a look at HR, and if you have gotten an HR degree, you know what I'm talking about. We essentially cover a lot of a very general pool of different areas of education. So it was like finance, it was operations management, it was some science, it was some arts, it was like all over, right? So I was like, wow, this is interesting. For a multi-passionate person, like that was calling me. Ultimately, what ended up getting my attention as an immigrant individual, I had promised my mom that if I was ever able to fulfill a dream of hers, what would it be? And we had a conversation about just supporting her, right? And I would watch my mom or hear my mom wake up super early to go to work every day before 5 o'clock in the morning. And that would hurt my soul. And so then I remember telling myself, like, if I'm ever able to make so much money that I can take care of my parents' bills and they don't have to worry about that, then I'm going to do it. So money was definitely important to me already at that age. And the whole reason that I was like, I'm going to explore the avenue of school, because remember, your girl Flaka, le valía madre la school. Like that was not it for me. I am not a book person, but I'll outwork you anytime. So basically, we start looking at the salaries of all of these degrees or both of these degrees. Turns out back then, this is about 10 years ago. And back then, the CEO of a nonprofit made the amount of salary of an HR manager. So you can like imagine my mind when I see the CHRO's salary. I was like, that's the goal. That's the title. We're going to go for it. Mind made up. Come on, Papa Dios. Let's do it. So, what did I realize fast forwarding after I get the degrees, after I'm in the roles, after healing? Okay. And healing has taken so many steps, which we can cover in another episode. But right now, I want to give you an overview of what I have done to make sure that my soul is aligned in my spirit with my achievements so that I enjoy the work that I do to pay my bills. And I'm not just dragging my feet to the office every day. So, number one, find your fire. Please make sure that you audit your energy. A lot of people assume or think as a career coach that I'm here to help you with your resume and your cover letter. Wrong-o. I will gladly complimentary whatever it is that you're trying to think that you got to fix on your resume. I'll go ahead and take a look at that for you. No problem. Drop it on my website, hrmommy.com. No problem. Not interested. That should not be the first step. That should not be your first priority. We can all figure out how to fix our documentation, our documents, and optimizing them to align with the roles that we're looking for. That's not the problem. But so many of us think that being successful deals with the titles, with the salary, with, the job. No. How can you make sure that you truly feel successful is by really making sure that your energy, that your purpose is known and rock solid. So figure out your why. Why? Why are you doing all of this? Why are you lifing? Like, don't just be surviving out here. I want to help you thrive. So why? Let's align your skills with the true impact. So, one of the very first things that we do as my client is we're going to find out your why. And your purpose always evolves, okay? Like, it's always changing. What mattered when you were a teenager does not matter when you're like 30, okay? And that's growth. We grow through our lives. And another thing I want to make clear is in order to find your fire, you don't have to quit your job. Okay? You can bring purpose into your job, into what you're already doing. You can figure out how to do that. So, I always suggest in order to find the best purpose in your role is to make sure that you have purpose in it. You have the right amount of money or the best amount of money. Make sure that you're growing within that role or within that job. Make sure that you're at peace in the speed that things can happen. And you need all four of these things in order to make sure that you're blending it all well. I don't believe in balance, so I'm not going to say balance, but that you're blending all of the things that are part of your role or your job or your career in order to make sure that you're finding that purpose. And you can definitely, I know I get this question a lot from clients, from friends, from people. Can I even find my purpose without starting over? Absolutely. It's not about a career change a lot of the time. It's about correcting the career. And how can you do that? Y'all, a lot of jobs out here, it has been proven that it's not what you know, but who you know. Okay. And I'm not saying that's for everyone. A lot of people can also find their jobs by making sure that everything is aligned, but network, network, network. Your network is your net worth. So, yes, get out there and connect with people. And I know for my introverts, that can be hard, but that is exactly where I come in and I help you out, my introverts. And some of us, like me, I know my Myers-Briggs type indicator, I am like 97% extroverted. So I'm not shy. If you know me, no tengo pena. So it's important to surround ourselves with people who see our potential, not just our position. So for me, I love connecting with people that see the fire in Flaka, that see that strength and courage in Flaka. Not just, oh, Flaka does HR, Flaka does nonprofit, Flaka's an immigrant. No, no, no. I need to find people that see my potential. So make sure that you do the same. So I made sure that I stay grounded in my why. So then when I'm at work, I'm not just on hustle mode, that I am paying attention to the daily tasks that I do at work to make sure that I'm aligning it with what my purpose is. And I just like to always remind everyone that I connect with. Your jobs, every single job that you obtain, it is part of your journey, but it's not your identity. We really need to stop thinking or feeling like whatever job that we're doing to pay our bills, that makes us all that we are. That is so not right because we are human beings and we know that society requires us to work to pay bills, but we are so much more than that 9 to 5 or that midnight shift or whatever shift that it is that you're working. So make sure that when you are working, that you work from peace, not pressure. Because when we're constantly on the go, 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 like a hamster wheel, then we are not aligning things that will attract better things for ourselves. So, just to recap, make sure that you are auditing your energy and how it is that you're waking up now when it is that you go to work. Make sure that you understand what does success really look like for you. Remember, it's not just about the resume, it's not just about these job applications. Really identify your why. And look, for me, gente, our why is more than our familia. Okay? One of the things that I very much remember, and my husband reminded me with all of this new equipment that we've got for this podcast. I remember when me and my husband met, we talked about that. Once we had kids and grew our family, me as a mom, I would continue to do what I had been doing and striving to do the best that I could for my community. I didn't call it my community then, so maybe that's what some of us are calling our familia. But I always knew that I wanted to impact my community, whether that's making enough money to be able to pour into all of these scholarships, opportunities for girls like me, or even for universities, like opportunities. I have always known that that's where I want to pour back into. But I clearly remember, and he reminded me recently that we talked about how being a mom, I was like, our kids grow up and our kids make their own decisions just like we have. And we make our decisions to leave our parents or to spend less time with them or to not prioritize our parents anymore the way that some moms always prioritize their little ones, like my mom. Dios bendiga la entrega de mi madre hacia mí y mi hermano. Todavía la fecha, mi mamá hace todo por hacernos a nosotros lo más cómodos y me da tanto sentimiento de que digo, mi mami es mi mamá, pero ¿qué más es? Like who else is my mama, y'all? Because my mama, that woman has given up her life for my brother and I. Like till this day, we are grown AF and this woman is still doing all of the things for us. And I think she never focused on what purpose and impact does she want to do. And I think about that all the time as a mom now that I'm like, I love my babies, but a lot of moms out here are my babies are my why. No, mama, your babies are not your why. You weren't a mama before. Now, is it evolving? Yes, 100%. But I encourage you that you continue to, yes, fight for your kids and for their better futures, 100%. But don't forget about you and don't forget about your dreams, mama. So make sure that you are aligning what it is that you're doing for yourself, trying your best to blend it as a mom. But whatever your heart feels, you need to go for it, regardless of being a mama or not, because your kids will go for theirs. And I hope that you expect that your kids will go for their dreams and their achievements no matter what. That is, I feel like, as a mom, the ultimate goal. Make sure that you build a strategy for your career, not to continue to chase those paychecks to just pay your bills without a purpose. So make sure that you're practicing purpose every time while you are at work. And it's hard. I know that it's so hard to think about, but Flaka, I need to get these bills paid. Right. I don't have enough time. Right. I understand that. But remind yourself why it is that you want to have more time. And I think that you will get resourceful in figuring out how to make it more time. And I always remind myself. I carry this sign behind me everywhere that I have ever worked. I work a lot more from home now. So for me, it's just been simple to keep it here on the wall. But dreams don't work unless you do. Okay, we can't continue to just be like calling it out into the universe, y quién sabe qué tanto, and we're just like sitting here. Same thing if we're people of faith. You can't continue to just pray and pray and pray and hope that something happens. Like, no, God expects us to put in that work. So I truly hope that you all enjoyed this episode and walked away with some next steps for your career to make sure that you're finding purpose within your career. I hope I sounded better on this mic. And if you have any specific HR questions, I would be more than glad and happy to answer them for you. If this episode hit home or if you have any questions, please make sure that you leave a review, send me a DM, let me know how I can help. And remember, please, your purpose isn't hiding. It's not like it's so deep somewhere hidden. It's just waiting for you to slow down and listen. Listen to yourself and listen to inside of you. So if you don't have a practice yet, mama, or anyone out there that you can't figure how to listen to yourself, then I highly recommend for you all to start looking for that because it's one of the greatest gifts, silence, that can do so much evolving for all of us. Have an awesome week, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for listening to Evolve con Flaka. Don't forget to follow, share with another jefa, and let's keep building comunidad. Stay chingona, stay confident, and keep evolving. Nos vemos next week.